everybody, and welcome to the Wildcat Report. I'm Brian Jeffries. Coming up on this week's report, we'll relive the Olympic Games. We'll also take a look at the Wildcat football team getting ready for its September 1st opener, and more coming up. You might recognize this lovely lady to my right, Brigitta Barrett, senior, soon-to-be senior, high jumper for the University of Arizona, and a silver medalist at the London Olympic Games. We'll be talking to her coming up in just a couple minutes as well. Don't forget, Wildcats open their football season September 1st against Toledo. One guy that is raring and ready to go is Dan Buckner, and Evyn Murray had a chance to talk to him.
Thanks, Brian. I'm here with Dan Buckner. Camp ended. Now we're in game prep. What's the difference between camp practices and now?
I think the main difference is school. Being in school, and you have to go to classes. You're there to and from class, and just time management. It's not a constructive day with your football team from sunup to sundown, but you still got to take care of yourself and know that we're in the middle of the season. And
then a lot of talk around your high-powered offense. What do the fans expect to see September 1st from you guys?
The scoreboard lighting up. We didn't put that scoreboard there for it to be turned off. We're trying to light it up as well as on offense, but on the defensive side of the ball, keep a goose egg up there. We're just trying to bring W's. We've got 8 home games, so that's 8 wins in our book. When you're in our house, we're not trying to lose, for sure. When we go on the road, we're trying to take a win, so we're just trying to shock the whole world right now.
And then you saw the freshmen try and show off their off-the-field talents. Any hidden stars?
Kyle Dugandic wasn't a freshman. He ended up winning first place. He had some great impersonations. JT Washington and Jarrell Bennett did like a summer workout rap. It was kind of funny. I've been walking around McHale kind of singing it. But
can we hear it?
I don't remember the song. I can't. It's copyrighted. You know what I'm saying? But we had a couple linemen come do a little like sumo kind of dance. It was actually pretty entertaining. All in all, it was a great way to end camp.
Okay, thanks, Dan. And when we come back, Brian Jeffries sits down with Arizona and Olympic coach Fred Harvey.
Welcome back to Wildcat Report. The Summer Olympic Games in London are gone, but certainly not forgotten, in particular for a number of University of Arizona athletes who took part in the Games, not only took part, but excelled. And we'd like to talk about a couple of them that you saw at the track stadium. With us, head track and field coach Fred Harvey, very proud of 3 of his athletes in particular, Brigitta Barrett in the high jump, Georgianne Moline in the hurdles, and Julie Labonte. And Fred, first of all, the experience of going to London, being part of the Summer Olympic Games for you and your athletes, was it as much fun as it looked like on television?
It really was. I mean, to be a part of that environment where it's almost like being on a citywide cruise ship, if you will. Everyone's there for one purpose only. They're either there to enjoy, the athletics, or they're participating in them. And so you have an entire city of, if you will, millions of like-minded people, which always excites me as as a coach and and as a participant in athletics. And to be at the Olympic Games, which in my mind is the highest form of athletics in the world, it's just always something special.
When I talked to you after you got back and asked you about, did any of your athletes surprise you? You mentioned Georgianne Moline first of all. Tell us about her performance.
Yeah, she. If you had asked me or you asked any coach, a year ago today, is she a young lady who's going to make your Olympic team, let alone make the finals of the Olympic Games? Most coaches, that had any, real understanding would have absolutely told you no. I mean, we knew she was talented. I knew that she had potential to be an Olympian one day. My thought process was 2016. Definitely her process was 2016. She had never made a national team of any caliber, whether it's Junior Olympics or Pee Wee, track and field, never made a national team, and she gets to the Olympic Games, the highest stage possible on the planet, and she makes the finals, was just such a special time for me.
It was so much fun to watch. And then Brigitta, and of course she'd had international success before, but I didn't jump quite as high off my couch as she did when she won the silver medal, but that was a special moment.
Brigitta is, I call the unfair athlete. I mean, she's so talented, all the way around. I mean, she's, musical. I mean, she's academically, she's an academic All-American. She's your ultimate team, athlete. She loves everything that we do within the program. She's there to do whatever we need her to do as a student athlete, within this program. And to watch her realize, her dreams that she's always had was just, it was so special, so satisfying. And as she went through, the process of training for the games, she had not had a competition the entire summer, after the Olympic trials. And in a high jump, the timing is so special. And for her to mentally understand what it was that it was going to take for her to progress and get to the final was it was just absolutely nails. I mean, you can't duplicate a high jump competition such as the Olympic Games in practice. There's just no way you could do that.
Now, Julie Labonte probably didn't get as much attention, but nonetheless, the experience for her, and how valuable was it her to be a participant?
With Julie, she was the only athlete, during this time when we recruited her, that we sat down as a program and said, okay, 2012, but you're going to have a great shot at making the Canadian Olympic team, and we were going to redshirt you that year. We knew that in terms of her event area, the shot put, that the maturity level of those ladies that you see are so much higher, than Julie. She's a baby. She has, 2 more years of collegiate, eligibility left. And so to watch her get in there and throw right at her best, be able to compete, with that level of competition, it made me smile the entire time. Yeah, I'm greedy. I would have loved to have seen her in the final. But just looking back and understanding what that meant for our program from a recruiting standpoint of view and from a competitive standpoint of view and the development of all the other athletes on our team, we have, I don't know how many other programs, but we have 3 Olympians that are on our women's track and field team. Not to discount what Nick Ross did. He didn't have the A standard, but he competed and made the Olympic team, but just couldn't go because of not having the A standard. But we have 4 young people on our teams that are Olympians, and what that tells the other athletes that there are sacrifices that these people are making to still be a part of this. Because if you think in terms of some of these young people who are leaving school early to become professionals, and there's no real logical reason in some people's mind for them to be back on this team. I mean, other than the fact that they feel that this is bigger than the both of them and that there is a bigger purpose for them being here.
Well, congratulations, Fred. Great showing for you and your program. We look forward to this coming Wildcat season and then the Olympics down the road.
Well, thank you.
All right, we continue Wildcat Report with Brigitta Barrett. And Brigitta, congratulations. Boy, what a phenomenal stay for you, and to bring home a silver medal. It had to be a very special time at the Olympics.
Thank you very much. And it was an amazing time, something that I know can only happen to some people once in a lifetime, and some people don't even get the chance to experience such a blessing. So it was amazing to be able to represent my country on such a great level and just really do the best that I can to bring pride back to Arizona.
You've been on the world stage before, but obviously the Olympics is the ultimate. What was it like just being there when you arrived in London, knowing that you were with the best of the best?
Well, the funny thing is, a lot of people asked us whether once we got down in London would we fall to the ground and kiss the ground. But I still was in a surreal moment. I didn't think that the actual moment of making the Olympic team ever really soaked in until I walked out into the opening ceremonies and really got a chance to see the flag bearer grab the American flag and know that I was a part of the country that she was representing, and to look back and to see that the U.S. delegation has the most diverse, largest group of athletes representing in the Olympic Games. There was just so much pride. It's very much an undescribable experience, but I can do my best to say how would you feel if you looked up and saw the American flag and knew that you represent that for everybody back at home that you know and don't even know, and that what you're about to do is about to be the dream of everybody that's watching?
At what point did you have to separate yourself from the euphoria of being there and being a part of, as you described, such a great experience, and knowing then it was time to compete?
The funny thing is, I never got nervous. I never got the anxiety that a lot of athletes get as far as, oh, I got to perform, I really want to do well. I just kept reminding myself, you know, Brigitta, you've worked really hard all year for this very moment, and the only way that you can cheat yourself or steal anything that you could possibly gain from this moment is by not enjoying it. You're here, and it's not to be happy to be here, but it's to enjoy the fact that you prepared and enjoy and walk in the confidence that your preparation was more than enough for you to get out there and represent your team, your family, your university, everybody that you don't even know as best as possible.
Because of your success here at the U of A and also, as I mentioned, in other international competition, did you feel confidence going into the event?
Yes. I will say during Olympic trials, that was the first time ever in my life, in my specific sport, that I experienced the pressure that it is when other people expect you to jump high, but stepping outside of those expectations and understanding that, you know what, Brigitta, God loves you first of all, and that love's not going to change depending on how you perform. Second of all, your family, your loved ones, everybody in Arizona loves you as well, and they're just as proud to have you here representing them. And it doesn't really matter how I do because they're still going to love me. So that completely allowed me to just breathe, get out there and smile and just compete. But as soon as I stepped out there, qualifying 9:30 in the morning, waved at the crowd, I knew it was time to perform and nobody was going to take my spot away. This only happens once every 4 years, and this is my moment.
Did that spirit, did that love you felt from your family, your friends, and the fans, so on, how did that propel you into a personal best? Because, again, to be on that stage and to do your best, to be there is one thing, but to exceed and do your very best is something else.
It is. And I know people are like, this is what you do. This is what you do. You shouldn't be afraid to do it. And I'm not afraid to do it, but imagine that you're standing and the bar gets raised to 6'8", and you're 8 inches shorter than that. You've never jumped this height before. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. You miss your first attempt. You know that you have to clear this height in order to receive a medal, go back home, doing what you wanted to do. So I stepped back, and I heard everybody just screaming for me. And in that moment, I said, you know what, Brigitta, it's okay. Don't be afraid. Don't jump out of fear. Don't jump out of fear. Jump with all the determination of everybody that's watching back at home. Everybody that you know believes in you. And so I just jumped off of the faith that everybody else had in me, because I know that I can do it. They know that I can do it. And I didn't want them to let them down. But most of all, I didn't want them to let them down with my effort, not my performance. I didn't want to walk away not trying my best to clear what I knew that I could clear.
Had you ever jumped 6'8" in practice?
No, 6'8", that was the first time I ever attempted 6'8" in my life.
Okay, 4 years from now, Rio de Janeiro. I mean, do you have your sights set already?
Yeah, definitely going for the gold in Rio, but I think getting this silver medal definitely did give me something to fight for, because I know that I want the world record. I want to be a gold medalist in the Olympics, and these are things that I spoke into my life before I even got to the college level in high jump in high school, just sitting there like, what are my dreams? And keeping those dreams in perspective, because I never want to look back and say, I know what it's like to have a dream.
Our thanks again to U of A track and field coach Fred Harvey. It was a great showing in London. We look forward to the next Summer Games and more Wildcats taking part in Rio de Janeiro. Now a look at our Wildcat calendar coming up. Don't forget the U of A football team opens its 2012 season with new coach Rich Rodriguez on Saturday, September 1st against the Toledo Rockets. 7:30 kickoff at Arizona Stadium. Tickets available for that game. Season tickets remain on sale at the Arizona McKale Center, and you can also check online at ArizonaWildcats.com. U of A volleyball team hosting the Wildcat Classic, then they move on to Pepperdine, and the Cats will be back home for the Arizona Invitational September 7th and 8th at McKale Center. U of A soccer team also traveling a lot. They'll be back, though, on September 14th and 16th for the Arizona Cats Classic. in town. And the U of A cross-country team will open its season Saturday, September 1st at the George Kite Classic up in Flagstaff. Thanks again for joining us on the Wildcat Report.